Alright, I got something a little bit different here today. We're going to bring guitars to the channel. First things first, I have, how many guitars do we have over there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guitars all together. And they all need a little something. They all need a little bit of attention. So this one here is an electric guitar. It's a Shecter PT. It's got about 2 hours playtime on it. It was poorly stored for a little while, so there was some conditions with electronics. Apparently there was like a flood. Nothing happened to the guitar, but the electronics got like corroded, I guess you could say. So anyway, I became the proud owner of this guitar. It's been many years now, and I didn't do anything with it. I forget how to play guitar. I didn't do anything, and well, now I want to put it back together. I actually just took the strings and all off. I'm going to clean the fretboards up. It still has the lacquer on the fretboards from when they sprayed it. Like, there's been no use. Like, normally that lacquer will come off when you play. It just hasn't been used. So that lacquer's still on there, but these here look horrible. I'm going to have to clean those up. The neck's straight. I put a straight edge on it. It looks good. When you look down it looks straight as can be. The nut has never been turned as far as I know. It uses one of those hex nut there. Now, I'm not a professional on any of this, you know. I'm just like bringing to YouTube what I'm doing with the guitar, right? Don't take this as a how-to or anything like that. Trust me, don't follow me. You can always comment below if you have any input, you want to help me out. That would be great. So first things first, here's what I'm going to do. You see the condition it's in now. The finish is actually scratched a little bit. There's 2 cracks in the whole entire guitar, and they're in the finish. There's one here, and that's very, very common to have a crack in the finish on the neck there. And there's one here, right under the neck, which is another common area. They're both in the finish only, as far as I can tell. I have no reason to believe that the wood's actually cracked. It's most likely the finish, we'll say. But anyway, so I'm going to clean the fretboard up first. Then I'm going to copper shield where the pickups go. I'm going to copper shield the back in here. And there's also a plate that goes on this that has shielding already on it. I'm going to copper shield that as well. We got some real nice copper shielding. We're not going to go with that. I mean, I'm going to put it together, and I'm going to put it together right. I have really good stock replacement parts for it. I forget the name of the company that makes the pots, and I have like the 4-way jack receiver instead of the 1-way jack receiver. You know, so I got the good things. We're going to put it together. We're going to see how it sounds, and then I'm going to take lessons. I'll record everything. We'll go day by day, one by one, and we'll see if there's a progression. If I can remember anything, you know, I'm lucky I remember what each string is. Right? Only because of Eddie 8 Dynamite. So, all right, let's get to work. Puma's here to help. Bailey and Minnie are down there bothering me. You can hear Puma purring real loud. She's a loud purrer. Alright, let's get to work. Alright, we have this back cover here. And we're going to have to take off this little silver shielding that they put on. That's what's stock. Like I said, we're going to put copper shielding on there. I'm going to break that out in a minute. I got the copper shielding from Philadelphia Lutheran Company. I got enough to do a couple guitars because Tyler's got a nice Strat. And that's never been shielded or anything. And plus, there's something wrong with the pickups. We got to figure that out. It's probably been sitting for a while. Same thing as this. Maybe the controls went bad. Who knows? You know, you can buy replacements and do the work yourself, and it's not that expensive. If you were to pay somebody to rewire it, sure, you're gonna pay. It's gonna cost money. You know, time is money. You do it yourself, it's not going to be that expensive. Put a few bucks into it. You know, I'm not suggesting anybody do this stuff themselves. Just saying, if you can, if you have the know-how, if you don't have cats that bother you like this, maybe you can get something done. Now all of a sudden you want attention. You were sleeping all night till I decided to make a YouTube video. Every single time. She knows what she's doing. She's like, if he feeds me, I'll stop bothering him. She knows what the deal is. Alright, I'll finish peeling off that silver coating, and then I'm going to go around to the back piece here. I cut a strip. You'll see. I'm going to fit it. Make sure it's long enough. Then this stuff has adhesive on the back. I'm going to peel that paper backing off. It's actually really thin, which is cool because it allows you to work it into areas, mold it into spots, and flatten it out real easy. But you'll see this is all I do here. See, I start it, stick it down. I make sure that it's level with the top when I start it. So this when I go around, it'll stay level. It'll stay perfectly flat along that edge, and it'll look decent. This is the benefit to being real thin around corners and all. I'm just going to go ahead and finish the rest of this one up with copper. I actually have a bunch more than I'm going to do. Maybe I'll go step by step of what I do. It more likely people will probably be more interested in the strats because they're more popular than this style here. Alright, I just finished cleaning up the fretboard here. These here obviously are made of metal. I used 2000 grit, 2500 grit sandpaper and ran over them. Now the varnish that was sprayed on here was still on a lot of these frets. Like I said, this guitar only actually has a couple hours playtime on it. So I just went ahead and took my fingernail and scraped the edges, and it was coming off in sheets. I also hit all the wood, right, with the 2500, and then I went back over it with 7000. There were a few spots on there from the factory where like some dirt had gotten into it or something. It wasn't perfectly smooth finish, but now these puppies are super smooth. I'm gonna have to take some polish. I'm gonna have to buff them and then polish it to make it look shiny and new again, because they're not quite there. You can still see where I sanded them if you look real close. The other project I was working on after I finished that was making my Faraday cages for all my electronics. So the pickups are going to go back in here. This whole guitar is getting rewired basically because it's sat, right? The controls for it were kind of like the pots on it were corroded a little bit, or I don't know. It just wasn't quite right, so I figured just rewire it, put some new electronics in it, some new pots. We're gonna keep the same pickups, they should be fine. See, shield the whole inside to stop interference. What happens when you start using some of these amps, the leads themselves can become, they turn themselves into antennas, right? And you can literally, I've seen cases where amplifiers have become radios, where the leads or the cords you're using turned into a antenna. Next thing you know, you're broadcasting the radio instead of playing your favorite electric guitar. So we're going to be all shielded up, back of the pickups, and then the compartment where all the electronics go in, and also the back plate, which will go over it, and that'll be completely encapsulated. One of the next parts going to be getting this guitar back in shape, getting her polished. I really want a flat black guitar, but this one's yeah, it's about as shiny as they come. So we're gonna have to work on this. There's some scratches I gotta sand out. Unfortunately, I did find a few cracks in the finish. One of the major cracks is right there. You You can see on the neck. It's a very, 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 very common spot to have a crack in the finish. Super common. So there's one there. There's a crack right there in the finish, which you barely even see because the pickup shroud goes over it. But you do see a little sliver. If you look hard, you'll see that crack. Right there, you'll see another crack. It actually looks worse than what it really is. That's because I've already started sanding it. And it's like filled with the clear coat or whatever. But yeah, I'll go ahead and take care of that. Unfortunately, I think the crack's all the way down through the paint. So if I sand it too much, I'm going to be getting rid of the clear coat and we'll be down to the paint. And we only have clear coat to work with if we're going to sand. So I don't know. I started sanding it to see what would happen, see how deep it actually is. I really don't know what's going to happen, but there's one here, and then there's one here as well. So there's some cracks in it. There's definitely some scratches. You can see there's a scratch there. Not a big deal. This stuff comes out. I mean, I can get that out. Not a big deal. But you see how that, look, every time you just touch it, I hate guitars like this. So I hate the guitar finish, but I love the guitar. This is my Shecter PT regular. Part of the Diamond series. The guitar is, I don't know, it might be 10 years old now. They still sell this guitar though. They still sell the Shecter PT. It's a decent guitar. Brand new. You could probably go pick one up for about $500 or $600. Used. I don't see them too much under $350, $400, but I'm sure they're out there. It depends what kind of condition. In great condition, you're going to find this used for just about the same what it costs brand new. At least that's what I'm finding. And then the other thing I did was I took my tuners off. So I made sure I cleaned up around that hardware so I can put those back in. First video of it, and a little bit of work we're doing to it. We'll come back to work on this. I'm going to make a whole playlist will be just guitars. So you'll be able to come and see the different projects I've been working on. As well as my experience with the guitar, because I'm going to start taking lessons again. That's a story in itself. You guys probably think I'm a guitar player. I know exactly what I'm doing, but I'm not. I'm not a professional. This is not a how-to. Do not follow my steps of what I do with anything. Because I am not the one to teach anybody about guitars. I'm going to tell you that right now. Alright? Guys, have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good whatever it is, wherever you're at. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.